everybody, this is St-Pierre at Physikinaction. It's Canada Day, and usually when we have Saint-Jean-Baptiste and then Canada Day, what happens is it's strawberry picking time in Quebec. So obviously we're gonna make some strawberry desserts. So we're gonna make some shortcakes today. They are raw vegan, which means there's no cooking involved, there's no flour, and there's no milk. So we're looking at something that's actually quite yummy and quite healthy. So let's get this puppy started. It takes a lot of ingredients and it takes a lot of steps, mostly strawberries, but we're gonna have that stuff almost ready for you, and let's get her started. So you're gonna need 1 to 2 pounds of dates. Okay, this is gonna make our crust. Moist dates, 1 to 2 pounds, just so you have an idea. I have 3 cups here and it's about 1.5 pounds. So give or take 1 cup is about half a pound. Depends how big your dish is. We're going with quite a big dish. Figure if we're gonna make it, might as well enjoy it, right? So we're gonna need this many dates. We're gonna need about 1 cup of macadamias. Some recipes call for figs and stuff, but we wanted something a little bit more sturdy. Macadamias mix really nice into almost any mixture because it's nice and fine. I have an extra little bit of macadamia nuts so that we can make a bottom for your crust so it doesn't stick to the pan, since we're not using flour or extra sugars to use for a non-stick. You're gonna need a dash of cinnamon and about 1 teaspoon or 2 of vanilla. So let's get this started in the blender. I'm gonna start with the nuts so we can use some of them for our bottom. Just gonna use a bit for the pot. We're gonna add the rest of the ingredients. Dates. Cinnamon, 2, 3, bit of vanilla, so once it looks sort of like a paste, we're going to use this into our pan that's already got nuts in there. Blades. Now using a piece of cellophane or plastic wrap is going to help to push all this stuff back down. It's just going to avoid you a lot of ickiness. We're just pressing it in. So once you're done pressing it, it should look like this in your springform pan. You want to make sure that it's something that you can take it apart. Now we're going to work on our next layers. You're going to have multiple layers of strawberries here, so we're going to start cutting up layers of strawberries to come up into our next level. So we got 2 layers here. You can be as fine as you want to be, but you can just pour them in, that's up to you. You want to make sure that it's completely covered and about 1/2 inch thick of strawberries. We're going to make the next layer, so what you're going to need is you're going to need about 2 cups of almond milk. If you can make your own, go ahead, it's better for you. We just don't have machinery for that. You can make this healthy, you can go coconut, but what we're doing is we're using 2 frozen bananas, we're using a cup of cashews, a dash of cinnamon, and a teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to start with the nuts so that it starts getting kind of a little bit loose, and then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So here we go. You want this quite fine so that it blends in and it makes a nice creamy texture. If you had a Vitamix, which we usually have one, but it's disappeared, you would actually have a nice creamy texture coming out of it. It has a little bit more power than one of these. We're gonna add the bananas so it has a chance to chop up, and then we'll do the rest of the ingredients. So you want to try to guess this because it is bananas and nuts to get as smooth as possible. If you were to use coconut, young coconut meat, it's a little bit more of a fleshy kind of a texture, and it'd probably get a little bit thicker than this. But since we're freezing this pie, it doesn't really matter how it goes. So you want to make sure that it's nice and smooth, and you want to make sure that it, you can still grab it. Okay, it's not just watery. Incorporate your milk slowly, so if you have to use more or less, you can adapt in consequence. Let's put this on our cake. You're only going to use half this mixture because we're going to be using this mixture again in another layer. Basically what you're doing is you're just covering all your strawberries right up to the edge. Sort of look like this. Now we're going to put another layer of strawberry, actually 2 layers of strawberries, so we're going to go ahead and do that as well. So this is what's going to look like. Hopefully your strawberries are nice and sweet. Now for the next layer, what we're going to do is we're going to take that other half of the mixture that we have, and we're going to add about a cup of strawberries. It's about a cup because once you have them whole and when you separate them, they look a little different. So it's just to give it a nice color. This is what it was going to look like. So we have a nice, pretty pink mixture that we're going to add again as another layer. So there you have it. We have one layer only because we are going to run out of a spot. We're going to put one last layer. It's a coulis or a sauce, or you can call it a glaze. It's dates and strawberries. So let's make that. We'll cover that up. So with your dates. Now, once all your dates are mixed in, this tastes like fruit roll-ups. It's awesome. We're going to put this layer, I'm going to take the blade out. So once you have this topped off, we're going to put one more layer of strawberries on this, and then we're going to stuff it in the freezer for about an hour so it solids out a bit, because as you can see it's still quite liquidy and very yummy. And if you want it to be more like an ice cream cake, you can leave it for 4 hours. This is what most of them do, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to top it up. So this is what we've got. We're going to put this in the freezer and we'll come out and show you what it looks like when it's done. So there you have our dessert. It's pretty yummy. It's pretty sleeky. So we're going to actually try to put some in a plate. This is after a couple hours of freezing. It could have sat in there a little bit longer.